Hello everyone, I'm Hansani Dadallage and welcome to the module Starting a Business and Fundamentals of Marketing, Week 2, Semester 1. Let's see what we are going to learn today. Learning outcome of this session is to demonstrate the ability to discuss content relating to the principles of marketing and apply these to real-world case scenario. At the end of today's session, you will be able to understand what are the useful frameworks and theories to analyze external and internal environment, especially focusing on SWOT analysis and Porter's 5 forces model. Also, you will be able to identify different factors using theories and frameworks and apply these in real life situations. So this is the first framework that we are going to learn today, which is SWOT analysis. SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. As this slide shows, strengths and weaknesses are internal, whereas opportunities and threats are external. When we move into detail about SWOT analysis, you can see that strengths and weaknesses are the findings of the internal audits, or we can say that strengths and weaknesses are originating from the external environment of the business. Opportunities and threats are originating from the external environment of the business or from the external audits. Now let's elaborate more about strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So starting with strengths. Strengths means what does your organization do better than others, or what are your unique selling points. And also we can say strengths are what do your competitors and customers in your market perceive as your strong points. What is your organization's competitive edge? So basically, strengths are the favorable factors within the internal environment of your business and which you can take advantage over your competitors. When we move to weaknesses, they are the opposite of strengths, which means what do other organizations do better than you? And what elements of your business add little or no value? And what do competitors and customers in your market perceive as your weak points? So basically, weaknesses are the unfavorable factors within the internal environment of your business which your competitors can take advantage over you. Now let's move on to opportunities. That means what political, economic, social, cultural, or technology, which also known as pest, changes are taking place that could be favorable to your business. So favorable factors in the external environment are the opportunities for your business, whereas threats are the opposite of it. That means what political, economic, social, cultural, or technology changes are taking place that could be unfavorable for your business, or what restraints do you face. Right. So strengths and weaknesses that most critically affect an organization's success. So we can measure strengths and weaknesses through where do we stand in terms of competition with other companies using factors such as product quality, brand, and customer service. Now let's think of an example of product quality. Let's say your product quality is comparatively higher than the other competitors in the market. So in that case, your high product quality is a strength of your business. When we think of brand, let's say you are new to the market and therefore your brand recognition is low compared to the other established competitors in the market. So your low brand image is a weakness of your business. So these are two examples for strengths and weaknesses. Then when we move on to opportunities and threats, managers need to identify the main threats and opportunities that their company faces. The purpose of the analysis is to make the manager anticipate important developments that can have an impact on the firm. So when it comes to opportunities and threats, as they are arising from the external environment, there is no control over threats and opportunities to the business. However, they are impacting on the business. Therefore, managers need to identify opportunities and threats Then when it comes to opportunities, the business should take the advantage of opportunities as soon as possible before the competitors take the advantage. Then only the business can gain the advantage of that opportunity. When we think of threats, it is important to identify the threats in advance because it helps the organization to get ready and face the threat successfully. So, opportunities and threats, the potential factors that can lead to opportunities and threats are economic climate, demographic changes, technology, market, competitive activity, politics, etc. So, if we think of an example, the COVID-19 pandemic. So we all know COVID-19 pandemic created threats for most of business organizations, and if you think of some points, we can identify opportunities that were created through COVID-19 as well. So COVID-19 created huge demand for sanitizers, thereby opening up opportunities for manufacturers of sanitizers. But when it comes to transportation industry, for transport suppliers, it was a threat because the demand for transportation was reduced during COVID-19. So we can see that the same external environment factor was an opportunity for one type of business organizations, whereas it was a threat for another type of business. Let's move on to competitive analysis. So this is also known as competitor analysis, and it is the process of identifying and evaluating your competitors' strategies, strengths, and weaknesses. So it is very important to identify your competitors in the market because there are so many competitors in the modern business world. By identifying their strengths and weaknesses, we can survive in the market and we can grow in the market. It helps you compare your business to others in your industry and find potential advantages and barriers in the market. So competitive advantage. Competitive advantage means the ways that a company can produce goods or deliver services better than its competitors. A competitive advantage is something that cannot be easily replicated and is exclusive to a company or business. So competitive advantage is always crucial for a business to grow in the market. Through competitive advantage, a business can differentiate itself from the other competitors. And the important point is that the competitive advantage is should be difficult to copied. This value is created internally and is what sets the business apart from its competition. So let's see an example of competitive advantage. We all know Amazon. An example of a competitive advantage is Amazon's fulfillment network, which enables the company to offer faster and more reliable delivery than many of its competitors. So Amazon is well known for its fast delivery, and the same fast delivery is the competitive advantage of Amazon. Amazon has invested heavily in its fulfillment network, which includes warehouses, distribution centers, and transportation infrastructure. By leveraging this network, Amazon can offer customers free 2-day shipping on millions of products, as well as same-day and even 2-hour delivery in some areas. So this fast and reliable delivery has helped Amazon attract and retain customers even in the face of fierce competition. So there are so many online retailers in modern world, but Amazon has been able to be successful due to their competitive advantage of faster delivery. So these are some examples of competitive advantage. So access to natural resources not available to competitors is one example of gaining competitive advantage. And highly skilled labor, if your business has highly skilled labor which other competitors don't have, it is a competitive advantage. And strong brand awareness, example is Uber. If the brand is well recognized, then it is a competitive advantage. Then access to new or proprietary technology and price leadership. So if you are the price leader in the market, That is the point where you can gain the competitive advantage over the other competitors because you can offer the products at the lowest price. Now let's move on to this model, which is Porter's five forces model. So Porter's five forces model is a model that identifies and analyzes five competitive forces that shape every industry and helps determine an industry's weaknesses and strengths. So there are five forces forwarded by Porter. They are threat of new entrants, supplier bargaining power, internal competition, threat of substitutes, and customer bargaining power, which we are going to look into in later on. So, five forces analysis is frequently used to identify an industry's structure to determine corporate strategy. So, it is very important to analyze the Porter's five forces for any business in determining the corporate strategy. So let's look at the first force, which is threat of rivalry, or we can call this direct competition. So this means threat of existing market competitors. So when it comes to an industry, there are existing competitors who are already established in the market. So the competition coming from those established existing competitors is known as threat of rivalry. So think of restaurant industry. So when if you are opening the business in the restaurant industry, so think of already existing restaurants. So the competition or the threat of them are known as threat of rivalry. So you have to analyze how well they are and how strong they are in the market. And also it is important to identify their strategy in the market and how they respond to the market. Then when we move on to the second force, which is threat of new entrants, we have to think about new entrants to the market. When we are operating in a market, there can be new entrants coming into the market. So you have to think how strong you are in terms of defending any new entrants to the market and what are your weak points and factors which can be challenged by the new entrants and how easily and any new company can enter to your market and give you tough competition. So depending on the industry you are operating, it can be easy for newcomers to enter to the market or sometimes it can be hard for the newcomers. There can be several factors for new entrants to enter to the market. So low entry barriers can be seen in restaurant industry as an example because it is easy for newcomers to enter to the restaurant industry. But when it comes to tech industry, we can see high entry barriers because in technological companies, there need to be high investments or initial capital and also there are legal requirements to be met as well. So in that case, it is little bit hard for new entrants to enter to the market. And also the convenience of copying the market or business is another factor affecting this threat. So if the product or the process can be easily copied, new entrants will enter to the market. But if it is difficult to be copied, there will be less new entrants. So that is the second force, which is threat of new entrants. When we move on to the next force, which is threat of substitute products, it means how easy it is for customers for finding your product a substitute. So when you are in the market, you have to think of the substitutes products for your product. Say for an example, if you are doing an Indian restaurant, you have to think of other type of restaurants, including fast food, which are available for customers to use as substitute. So you have to decide how strong is your product and you have to make your product stronger than the other substitute products in order to keep your customers with you without letting them to switch to other substitute products. The next force is threats of buyer bargaining power. So buyers or customers have a significant power in the market. So think about who are your buyers and what options they have in the market in comparison to your products. and how easy it is for them to move to another options and what orders they can give you. So if there are so many options available in the market for buyers to switch between, in that case, buyers' bargaining power will be very high because they can easily switch to another buyer, another business from your business. So because of that, you have to analyze the threat of buyer bargaining power as well. And the final force is threat of supplier power. Suppliers are very crucial and they work as a backbone for any business, and therefore it is important to think about the power of suppliers. Think about the suppliers' power of increasing price or reducing quantity. So if the suppliers have high power, they can increase the prices, which is not good for your business. So this can happen when there are less suppliers in the market. That means only few suppliers are supplying materials for your business. In that case, those suppliers have high power. But if there are so many suppliers in the market, if one supplier is raising their prices, you can easily switch to another supplier. So depending on your industry, you have to analyze the threat of suppliers' power. So that is about the Porter's five forces model, and this is the reference. And thank you so much for listening.